Hi everyone, welcome to our show, The Wonders of Chinese Medicine. My name's Libby Proctor. I'm a licensed acupuncturist in the Wicker Park neighborhood. I also work in the medical office of Dr. Carrie Dockman, a leading rheumatologist in Schaumburg, Illinois. I have my colleague here, and I'll let her introduce herself.
First of all, I just want to apologize for the huskiness in my voice. I'm nursing laryngitis, but I have been treated by my acupuncturist, Libby, over here, and my voice is so much better than it was. My name is Sonora Park. I'm also a licensed acupuncturist, and I have a private practice just east of Wicker Park. And I'm also a certified yoga instructor, and I teach out of a yoga studio in the West Loop of Chicago.
So we're here to talk about acupuncture today. In Oriental Medicine, which is also called Chinese medicine or traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM for short. So if you hear us throw around those different terms, it all means the same thing. But first, a little bit of background about us and how we got interested in acupuncture. So from an early age, I always was interested in medicine, and I thought I would go the medical doctor route, but something just felt a little bit missing there for me. So I kind of gave up on that. It wasn't till my last year at Northwestern, graduation was approaching. I had no idea what to do with my life, and serendipitously I got an acupuncture treatment. It was a Chinese medicine treatment, and I had a severe cold, and within hours my cold was completely gone. My passion for healing was reignited, and I felt like I really found that missing piece. So by that next fall I was in graduate school.
And for me, being of Asian descent, I was introduced to acupuncture or Chinese medicine early on by my parents. However, at that time, I rejected the concept because I thought it was hokey and primitive and un-American and basically weird. But it took my investigating medicine further as an adult. I was looking into the physical effects of mental and emotional stress, and I was fascinated by what I discovered, how sophisticated and scientific and effective Oriental medicine is. And upon doing further research, I was really impressed by how the medicine looks at and approaches the mind and body as a whole, as one entity, and also encourages the body to heal itself properly. And so then I enrolled into grad school to study Oriental medicine even more.
So we both went to Pacific College of Oriental Medicine, which is located here in Chicago. There's also a campus in San Diego and New York City. It's a 4 years master's degree. It was a pretty rigorous program. We learned acupuncture, Chinese herbal medicine, Eastern medical theory, but also throughout the whole 4 years, we learned Western medicine as well. We had pathophysiology classes, anatomy and physiology, pharmacology, all of the ologies, clinical sciences, and so on. So we're really excited to be here today to share what we've learned and our experience with Chinese medicine, to get rid of some of that mystery surrounding Chinese medicine, and to share some tips for self-healing. So stay tuned for an acupuncture demonstration. We're going to show some tools that we use other than needles in Chinese medicine. And without further ado, we'll talk about the history of Chinese medicine.
So the earliest acupuncture tools date back all the way to the Neolithic period, basically 6000 BC. You can see some of the earliest, more primitive tools that were used for acupuncture here. Chinese medicine that is practiced today dates back to 3,000 years ago. So uninterrupted practice of Oriental medicine has been going on for over 8,000 years. Western medicine was invented in the 1350s, so around 700 years old. Within the 700 years, Western medicine has advanced in technology amazingly. Through Western medicine, we can scan the body and look inside the body without cutting the body open. There's also lab work that can be done and surgeries that can be performed, as well as hundreds of pharmaceutical drugs that can be prescribed to treat a plethora of ailments. However, not all conditions require surgery or pharmaceutical drugs. There are so many conditions that can be addressed simply by encouraging the body to heal itself. That's when Oriental medicine is very useful. So Oriental medicine and Western medicine combined together can be a very good complementary medical practice to heal the body thoroughly and fully.
So Chinese medicine, it's a complete, powerful, sophisticated medicine, just like Western medicine. We just use different terminology, different tools, have different philosophy and theories. So it's not just acupuncture. I know most everybody has heard of acupuncture, but it's more than that. It's Chinese herbs, Tui Na, which is Chinese massage. It's cupping, gua sha, moxibustion, and we're going to go over some of those tools right now as well.
So moxibustion, otherwise known as moxa, is basically the leaf of the Artemisia plant, otherwise known as mugwort, and the plant is processed so that it can be used as a healing substance or healing source to stimulate acupuncture points. By heating up the acupuncture points with the healing properties of moxa, the functions of the acupuncture points are enhanced to further the healing process. Also, it helps to eradicate the cold within the body. We've all experienced injuries and joint pains where when the weather is cold or there's dampness or pressure in the air, that the pain is exacerbated. And so with moxibustion, you can definitely remove the cold and damp aspect of the injury or the condition to help heal the joint and other illnesses like such.
So we also have cupping here. This is an example of cups. I don't know if you've seen celebrities with circular bruise-like marks on their back, or perhaps you see someone walking around the street with like weird circular bruise. That's probably from cupping. So there's fire cupping, which you use a flame to get the suction, or we have here the mechanical cupping, so we use a pump to get the suction. So basically, the cup is placed on the skin of the person, and we use the pump to pump the air out, and it just gently kind of draws the skin up into, so it draws the skin up into the cup a little bit, and then it's like a little massage. It helps to increase circulation in the area, blood circulation, lymph circulation. It's a pretty great modality. It can leave bruise-like marks, but the more bruises you get from the cupping usually means the greater the need for the cupping. So similarly to cupping, we also have gua sha, and these are examples of gua sha tools. And I'll just pick these up here and show them. So gua sha tools can be made from plastic or jade or bone sometimes, or porcelain. So basically what this tool is, the acupuncturist will rub vigorously on an area of treatment, and it's similar to cupping in that it increases circulation to the area, it draws out toxins from the area. It's actually really great for colds and flus too. This is the treatment I got before I knew anything about Chinese medicine that made my cold completely just disappear. So it's a very powerful tool, even though it doesn't look so technological or crazy, but it's great.
Another modality is the electric stimulation, e-stim, short for electric stimulation. Small electrical pulses or currents are added to the acupuncture points. Basically, once the needle is inserted into the body, tiny little, what looks like little car battery clips are attached to the needles, and from the machine, the pulsating currents are sent to the needles to help stimulate and activate the acupuncture points more. It's really great at healing injuries and muscle pain and many other things. One thing that I must note is the fact that if you do have a pacemaker or any heart condition, please inform your acupuncturist, because e-stim is not recommended in those cases.
Okay. And we also do herbology. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. We are both board certified herbalists, and herbs don't just mean plant products. It's just an umbrella term to talk about the different things that you can find in the world that have healing properties. It could be plant products, but also it could be minerals and sometimes animal products. But for thousands of years, Chinese medical practitioners have studied these healing products, and what we can do is we can customize an herbal formula for each patient and their condition and basically it's like the Oriental medical form of pharmaceutical drugs that you could purchase here. The herbs are, can we come, sorry.
That's okay.
I drew a blank.
That's okay. We can move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of Chinese medicine now. So we're just going to get up and stand next to our handy dandy board. Okay, so we're going to explain a few words. You might hear your acupuncturist throw around some weird words that you have no idea what they're talking about. They talk like a crazy person, but we're here to kind of help with that. So we've already mentioned the word qi a lot, so I'm just going to flip this over. So this is the word qi, spelled Qi, pronounced qi. So qi is translated as your vital energy in your body. It's what moves things in your body. It's the force behind everything. It contracts and pumps and expands and helps things flow. So the quality, the quantity, that's all important for the qi. So as long as you have a lot of qi, you're going to be really healthy. If you don't, you're not going to be as healthy. And if there's a blockage in qi along a meridian, then that can cause illness or disease or pain. So for example, if there's a blockage in the stomach meridian, it can cause digestive issues.
The qi moves along what's called meridians or channels. These are basically highways throughout the body
And we have some posters that we can show with the
that shows all the different meridians and the channels. There's 14 major meridians, and they're basically highways in which, or through which, different parts of the body communicate with each other. Brain signals and different organ systems communicate through these channels, as well as the qi and the blood travel through these channels as well. The channels are along the lines of the lymphatic, nervous, and the blood vessel pathways. Specific points are selected on these channels, and to help clear the channel, remove any obstruction in the channel, and also to facilitate the healing process that are affected by any obstruction in the channel.
And for the more scientific-minded folks, you can kind of think of it like this. A needle inserted into a muscle causes a micro trauma. So your central nervous system is immediately aware of something going into your body and initiates a response. So endorphins are released that result in pain relief locally, but also an overall sense of well-being. And then also the immune response is triggered to go to that area and help bring fresh, healthy cells to that area to help clean up the trauma.
Now I'm going to be talking to you about the yin and yang theory. We've all seen the yin-yang symbol and have heard the term yin-yang. Basically, the yin-yang theory states that everything in the universe falls relatively into one of two opposite, complementary, and interdependent categories. Basically, the duality in the properties of anything in the world. Yin things tend to be cooler, heavier, darker, wetter, such as the winter, nighttime, minerals in the swamp. Yang things tend to be warmer, brighter, lighter, and drier, like the summer, daytime, air, and the desert, and so on. As such, in the human body, yin components are substantial and nourishing and moisturizing, like the flesh, the blood, and the fluids. And yang things tend to be more energetic and less tangible, like our metabolism, nerve signals, brain function, and the electric stimulus of the heart. Both yin and yang must exist in our body for life to happen. For example, blood, a yin substance, in and of itself is just a pool of liquid, but it requires qi, a yang substance, to help it circulate throughout the body. In traditional Chinese medicine, health is achieved by balancing the yin and yang in the body. And when there's an imbalance, that's when it leads to disease. You've also, when you talk to an acupuncturist, you'll probably hear the acupuncturists use some elemental terms. I'll talk to you about the 5 elements theory. You can see the graphics here for the 5 elements, otherwise known as the 5-phase theory. This theory presumes that all phenomena in nature can be broken into 5 elemental qualities: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, and applies specific rules to the interaction and relationship between the different phases. In Chinese medicine, the body is viewed as a microcosm of the external environment around us, with rivers and highways and different climatic areas, and draws many parallels from the nature to help describe the inner workings of the human body in normal and sickly conditions. Let's talk about water, for example. We have the blood streams and the lymphatic streams throughout the body, much like the rivers around the world. The lungs are a misty, humid part of our body, kind of like the tropical areas of the world. However, water can also be a pathological element that contributes to one's ailment. For instance, edema is the pooling of liquid throughout the body, or pneumonia, which is the flooding of fluids in the lungs. I'm also going to talk to you about the other advantages of acupuncture in Chinese medicine. You don't necessarily just need Oriental medicine to treat or cure illnesses. Oriental medicine can also help you in preventing illnesses as well as maintaining your health. It has a lot of anti-aging qualities. When there are aging symptoms, Oriental medicine and acupuncture can reverse those symptoms. It can also prevent aging as well as slow down the process of aging. Before we were born, let's talk about our health in terms of a savings account. Before we were born, our genetics plays a component into filling up the savings account, as well as the health conditions and the lifestyle and diet choices of our parents. After we're born, our own diet and lifestyle contributes into either depositing more health reserves into our savings account or depleting our savings account by living a more taxing lifestyle with poor dietary choices.
So acupuncture and Chinese medicine can treat a ton of conditions. The World Health Organization and the National Institute of Health actually have a list of about 70 conditions that acupuncture can successfully treat. As acupuncturists, we know that we can treat a lot more than that, but it's great to have those government entities, rooting for us and telling the public that this is what acupuncture can treat. So, obviously if there's an emergency situation, Western medicine is going to be your key. That's the technology, everything. But people aren't usually aware that acupuncture can treat your depression, heartburn, insomnia, arthritis, urinary problems. The list goes on and on. So I'm sure you're all wondering a little bit about how acupuncture actually works. So we are here to answer that question. So whenever something happens to your body, there's a stress response in your central nervous system. So your brain waves get thrown off, and this is from stress from work or family or a car accident. If you eat poorly, if you're not sleeping well, that's all wreaking havoc on your central nervous system. So what the acupuncture needles do, they actually interact with your central nervous system to kind of help harmonize everything, to slow down your brain waves, just get everything back in that restful state. And by doing that, it allows for your body to remember that it can just relax and kind of heal itself again.
Now we're going to do an acupuncture, actually a Chinese medicine demo over here at this treatment table on our patient John. This is our patient John. He's 59 years old and he has served for the Chicago Fire Department for 31 years. I see him regularly to treat him for joint pain and arthritis. And when you first come to see an acupuncturist, First, what happens is that the acupuncturist will ask you a number of questions. Basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to accumulate as much information as possible, collect all the puzzle pieces so that we could figure out the puzzle of our patient's condition. That's done through an in-depth intake with a bunch of questions that we ask, and also we feel the radial pulse to feel for the quality of the vessel as well as the quality of the blood flow. And we'll also take a look at the tongue to see the quality of the tongue to diagnose the pattern of his condition.
So this is us taking the pulse. The pulse and tongue are microcosms of the body. So the body can be mapped out in your pulse and on your tongue. So there's different pulse positions for different organ systems, and we feel different depths, different levels, getting a better idea of what's going on inside of your body. We also look at the patient's tongue, and I think we have an image too of the tongue diagram. So the body is mapped out on the tongue. So the middle of the tongue is like the digestive area, the spleen and the stomach. The sides are like the liver and gallbladder. The back of the tongue is the kidney, bladder, and intestines. And then the tip is the heart, and around the tip is also the lungs. So we get a lot of information from this stuff. And once we get the information, then we have a better idea of how to treat the patient. Okay, so. All right, so I'm going to start with some cupping. Like we explained before, I'm just going to use a couple. We usually use more, sorry, it's cold. We usually use more than 2 cups, but we're just showing this for demonstration purposes. So we usually put some oil on, sorry, my hands are so cold. Put some oil on the patient. This allows for the suction to, like a really tight seal around the cup. And then also if we need to move the cups around. So we go like this, and we just create some suction, and that's cupping. We usually do a bunch of cups, but usually the skin is a little red or purple. It just depends on how much you need the cupping. And then Sonora is going to demonstrate some acupuncture.
So acupuncture needles come in many different sizes. They can be as short as this little needle here, or they can be as long as this needle, or even longer than this. They range in gauge as well as length. And an acupuncture needle usually is the thickness of a hair follicle. They're not hypodermic, which means that they're not hollow in the middle. So we're not pulling any blood out of the body, nor are we injecting anything into the body. It's sterile, flexible, and each needle, once it's used, is discarded into a biohazard sharps container and never used more than once.
Do you want the guide too?
Needling can be done. People usually ask, what does an acupuncture needle feel like? Does it hurt? Well, a normal acupuncture treatment, once the needle is inserted, obviously it's a needle, so you'll feel a little prick, maybe similar to a mosquito bite, but sometimes people don't feel anything at all. And then once the needle is in, you might feel a mild, achy, mild sort of heavy sensation, which means that the chi in the body has grasped the needle. Sometimes you'll also feel a sensation radiating down the body, which means that the channel is opening and clearing. I can use a guide tube, or I could do it freehand. First, I'll try using the guide tube. I press the plastic guide tube in there first, and then push the needle in, and then insert the needle. Or I can also do it free-handed without the guide tube, which is just as effective and no more painful. So
it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, John?
I'm feeling very
Good. All right.
So then usually once the needles are in and the cup is set, we leave the patient here for a little bit and let the needles do their job and the cups work on healing the body as well.
And people usually, another frequently asked question is acupuncture safe? Well, it's extremely safe as long as it's being practiced by a licensed acupuncturist. So there is a difference between a licensed acupuncturist and someone who's merely certified in acupuncture. So some people say, well, my doctor does acupuncture or my chiropractor does acupuncture. Well, they're not necessarily licensed. The difference here is that, like I mentioned before, a licensed acupuncturist has 4 years of schooling, thousands of hours of classwork. We're in the student clinic for that whole 4 years, getting hands-on patient experience. And then we are nationally board certified, and we have to do continuing education. When someone is just certified in acupuncture, that's only like a 100 to 3 hour seminar. They don't have to take national board exams. They do not have to complete continuing education. So it's actually a huge difference. So when you're looking to get acupuncture, look for your licensed acupuncturist. Look for the letters LAC at the end of the person's name. And then speaking towards the safety, the most common side effect is bruising, really. Our malpractice, the licensed acupuncturist malpractice, is such a low amount of money compared to Western medicine malpractice, because any negative events are just so minuscule compared to Western medicine. So it's extremely safe, it's extremely effective. And also about how many treatments you might need. Acupuncture has a snowballing effect. So it's kind of like exercise. You don't just exercise once and you're like, I'm in shape, I'm done the rest of my life. I only need to exercise that one time. Acupuncture is the same way. So the more you get it, the better you feel. It's as if your body and your health is like an onion. So there's lots of layers. So those first few acupuncture treatments, you're going to peel away a few of those layers. And each treatment, you're just going to keep peeling until you're getting to the deep root of the problem. So, we tell people acupuncture treatments 2 to 3 times a week for the first couple weeks. Try to get you at a baseline of health and just continue from there. And then you can always have acupuncture to fall back on if you get sick, if you're not feeling good. It's important to continue it through your life. Okay. So
we'll just remove the cupping right now and remove the needles.
And these just release easily.
And then this is the Shaw markings that we were talking about on the skin. So with the markings, it's obvious that John over here needed this cupping treatment. So he'll have some good health benefits from the cupping.
We'll have to do some more of that later. All right, and then we're going to sit back down and talk a little bit more.
So there's more to health than just going to see your doctor or seeing your acupuncturist every now and then. The real source of health starts from you. It's about your daily choices that you make and also your attitude about yourself. It's important to make healthy dietary choices and drink plenty of fluids, and also get some cardiovascular exercise as well as some untaxing healthy exercises like yoga. To have a good attitude about yourself and your health will help your body maintain its health and prevent injuries. You have to value your health and your body because this is the only body that we have in this lifetime. Many of us purchase expensive things such as an expensive luxury vehicle, and we do all that we can to try to keep it clean and keep it running well, but we neglect our bodies. Our body is probably the most valuable thing that we own, so we should have that attitude and be positive with our bodies and take care of our bodies as best as we could. Also, stress plays a big role in one's health. Many people actually have health failures due to stress alone. So if you think about it, the feelings of stress comes from the thoughts that you have. You have your thoughts first, and then you have the feelings. Then the body sends out all sorts of stress hormones, and not only do you feel stress, but it becomes physically stressed as well. A stress hormone, once released, requires 24 hours to flush out of your system. And imagine if you're constantly stressed out, how much stress hormones that your piling up and how much of it is flooding within your system. So it doesn't make sense for us to worry about things that we don't want to happen and worst case scenarios. We should think positively and have a good attitude about life and think about the best things happening. Also, it really helps to concentrate and focus on the good things in our lives, to be grateful and count our blessings. And the body doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. You can think about a bad situation and the body will respond as such. Or you could think about an amazingly happy situation and the body will experience those happy feelings as well. So if we could just all remember to stay positive and think positively and to treat ourselves with the utmost care and value, then we can really all live long, healthy, happy lives.
Thanks, Sonora. It was really inspirational. So like Sonora mentioned, a huge part of stress reduction or a huge part of self-care is stress reduction. So we want to send you guys home with a little bit of a breathing meditative technique. And I know we have some benefits of meditation that we showed before. We might have that up. There you go. So there's a lot of benefits of meditation. Increased blood flow, slows the heart rate, it normalizes blood pressure, reduces anxiety, decreases tension. It's just really all over an amazing thing, and we should all be doing more of it, but I know we can get a little intimidated by the word meditation. So really, it's just as easy as breathing. So Sonora and I will walk you through a little bit of a breathing technique. We call it abdominal breathing, and I know her and I tell all of our patients to do it while they're on the table getting treated. And then also, it's something you can take home and do it all the time. So you're going to place a hand over your lower abdomen and a hand over your heart. On your inhales, you're going to inhale your abdomen, let your abdomen push out against your hand. You're going to let it blow up like a balloon. And you're going to inhale deep, deep, deep. You're going to fill up your lungs from the very bottom all the way up. You want to feel your ribs stretching, your muscles stretching. And even when you feel like you've breathed in all you can breathe, take another sip of air. So you're going to breathe in really deep. You're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then on your exhales, you're just going to let your abdomen fall and just completely exhale. And you're going to do that a series of, 5 or 10 times. Just to really get your nervous system calmed down, and you want to be in that restful state. And it does wonders, really. It kind of, again, rewires your central nervous system, so next time you're in a stressful situation, your body will remember that restful state, and you won't react as badly to a certain situation. So you can do it in the doctor's office, you can do it in the car, when you're at a stoplight, you can do it in bed. Just try to remember to do it every day. So we want to thank you guys for joining us today. This was a really fun experience. We hope that you guys got a better understanding of Chinese medicine and acupuncture. We hope we debunked some myths surrounding it, and we hope you saw how it's pretty fun and it's not too scary. I also want to thank Sonora for joining me. I want to thank John for being our patient. And then most of all, we want to thank the Senior Network for having us here. It was pretty great. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a healthy and happy